Hey everyone, so enough is enough. I'm tired of dealing with one of my printers, and I want to explain why. So, this guy right here is my Creality K1 Max. So, I got it when they started the pre sale a little bit ago. A couple fixes came on the market, I apply all those fixes, and the printer works fine for a couple prints, and then I have to recalibrate everything again. Then the same thing happens. I start working again on the printer, fix it, and all of a sudden the filament was leaking everywhere. Something broke in the middle of a print, and big mess. I have to replace the whole head, bunch of different things. I swap the base plate because it was so warped that nothing will stick and was impossible to level. And I've been dealing with this for quite a while. It's been about a year or so that I've been using this printer. And I'm gonna say something. I print in a year in this printer probably 20 to 30 times less than in my A1 Mini. So the printer that's supposed to be one of the biggest helps is really none. It's more like a headache. I've been working constantly on the printer. So I found for this printer a new home. And we're gonna take it there today, and we are going to see how that goes. Full disclaimer, you might get your feelings hurt by this video. So, a couple things. The printer, as you can see, I've been trying to keep this printer clean, and I work on it. I recently installed the newer option that they have for the nozzles with the unicorn, whatever they call it. I mean, I did everything I could with this printer, but no more. So I'm gonna keep this because I have another big former printer that I hope this will fit. But other than that, I have here their original base plate. All right, it won't tilt. All right. So we're taking this baby to his new home. All right, so we're gonna get the printer to his final home, or her final home. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be a her, you don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a he or a she. But yeah, I mute the music because I don't own the rights, and I want this to be able to be online. Anyways, so consumer printers. My understanding is as a printer that hits the market for the mass group of people to buy it and use it. Doesn't need to be necessarily the easiest, but under my understanding, needs to be at least a functional one. So if you buy something that you want to need to work more than the actual machine is going to work, it's not practical for any business. Now, I owned printers before that were on this kind of level. So with that being said, my first printer was actually a Viper for Anycubic, and they were not the best printers on the market. There was a inexpensive printer to begin the experience, and I did work quite a lot to keep those printers up and running and fine-tune, and it still has its problems here and there. but they are, in my opinion, kind of a Ender 3 printers, or similar. Nothing super fancy, nothing super expensive. You work on the printer to make sure that the printer works. But when you work on the printer, you expect the printer to work. And when you work on the printer and the printer still doesn't work, or lose all your work in just one or two prints, there is a problem with how the printer was built. Being this a flagship from the business or the company, kind of make me feel like they lost track of what they're doing, or they don't know what they're doing. So I can compare this with a new K2. They have a K2 now, and a K2 combo, which is supposed to be a competitor with Bamboo Labs, with the P1P and the P1S, and I don't know if the K2 combo can be to the level of the X1 Carbon. I do own X1 Carbons, I do own P1P and P1S, and they'll print flawlessly, and it still needs maintenance, and it still needs a bunch of different things that any other equipment is required. But they work. So I don't know. Give me an advice in your comments what I will expect from Creality as a response when I post this video, and someone probably says, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have Creality machines and they're super happy with, you guys are super happy with the machine, and the machines are great in printing and working fine. But at the same time, I don't know how many of you goes to 60 pounds of filament every month. So I'm gonna say that it's kind of on a different level of expectancy on the printer. Maybe a bunch of the components pass their time in almost nothing, in a couple months of use. Because in the beginning, print well. It was a couple months after that all the problems start. There was no update, there was no firmware root or nothing that I could have done. And trust me, I did a lot. Ultimately, I don't have the time. I can spend 5 hours troubleshooting a printer for a 3-hour sprint that on the second try is going to be completely out of whack again. The last problem that this printer had, and I sent it to one of my friends, Kobe Schmidt, the images and stuff. We were on a video call trying to troubleshoot what is the printer doing. It was the weirdest for me because I thought that was the extruder that I changed also for a brand new extruder. Then I changed the C steppers because I thought they were wrong. They were fine as well. Changed the bed because I thought the bed, with the little warp that it has, it was unable to be calibrated or level. It wasn't the bed either. Changed all the nozzles for all the updates and all the newest nozzles that they had. Nothing make it better. After the second, third, or fourth print, the whole machine was out of whack again. So,
oh god,
the weirdest problem right now is that the printer is under extruding and over extruding willingly. So the first layer was horrible. I kind of get the first layer on point, but every other layer after that was like, or a blob of filament or not enough. So I never had the problem where the printer does both things at the same time, because you usually fix one using the other method. So I'm not sure. Well, we find a home for this printer. I'm sure the printer is going to, stay there for a bit, and probably we'll find another printer in the same category to talk with. So we are going there right now, and as you can see, it's a pretty drive. It's a pretty drive. All right, we are here. Goodwill. No, this is Goodwill is too good for this printer. Recyclables here, glass bottles. So, full disclosure, I did talk with one of the people that works here to make sure that it was fine for me to do this. So she told me that it was fine. Just please come back when there's not a lot of people, so I can film. And I don't have another person right next to us. But we're gonna wait just a second to let some people finish their business, and then we continue with this. Well, go ahead, get printer. Okay, so the printer is in his or her rest in place.
Resting place.
Resting place. But I really have a bad experience with that specific printer. It was more frustration over frustration. So if anyone wants to explain more about this printer to me or whatever, it's a little bit too late, but I'm welcome to see your comments and talk about it. Other than that, I wouldn't recommend it. So, happy printing.